You came for one shirt, you left with three, and the website congratulated you on saving $120 and you planned to spend $30. You spent $60. You doubled it, and somehow it felt like winning. Here is what actually happened. The page never argued with you about whether you needed a shirt. It changed what you were comparing. The shirt was $30 sitting next to a crossed-out price of $60. 2 for $48. 3 for $60 with a small badge that said, Best Value. Free shipping started at $50. Somewhere on the screen, a timer was running. So you did the math, and the math was right. 3 for $60 is $20 each. The best per shirt price on the page. You took it, and the confirmation screen thanked you for saving $120. That is the strange thing about shopping online, that the more you spend, the more enthusiastically the page can congratulate you for saving. Once you notice the pattern, you start seeing versions of it across online stores and checkout pages. So, let's take it apart. 5 techniques, and they are not 5 separate tricks, so much as 5 ways of doing the same thing, changing the decision in front of you. The first is anchoring. $100 crossed out, now $59. The moment you see that, something quiet happens. You stop asking whether the thing is worth $59 and start feeling how much less 59 is than 100. Those are not the same question, but they feel identical from the inside. The crossed out number is not just a price. It is a reference point. And a reference point does not have to be affordable to do its job. It only has to make the next number feel like a rescue. That older price might be completely genuine. Things go on sale all the time. But whether it represents a real previous price or an inflated one, it still shapes how the current price feels, because it is standing right next to it. The second is the decoy, and this one is almost elegant. Basic, $20. Standard, $38. Premium, $40. Look at standard for a second. $2 below premium for noticeably less. Standard may not be expected to win. Its real job is to make premium look obvious. For $2 more, you get everything. So of course you take it. Except rewind. If you arrived expecting to spend $20, you came in for basic, and you are leaving with premium. And it feels like a careful, sensible decision. It was a smart, careful decision about the wrong question. The decoy is not there to be bought. It is there to control the comparison. And notice what the page has done to your original question. You walked in asking whether you needed this. The page swapped it for which version to get, and you never felt the swap. Because the second question is genuinely interesting and the first one is a chore. And then the page stops changing the price. It starts changing what losing feels like. Free shipping. Your cart is at $42. Shipping is $5. Free shipping starts at $50. So you go find a $12 thing to add and the fee disappears. Let's do that out loud. Without the extra item, you pay $42 plus $5. $47. With it, you pay $54. You spent $7 more to avoid a $5 fee, and you closed the tab feeling like you got away with something. That works because paying a shipping fee feels like losing money, and buying an extra thing feels like getting something. Same wallet, very different feeling. Free shipping does not always reduce what you spend. Often it just changes what you spend it on. The fourth is urgency and scarcity. Only 2 left. Sale ends in 10 minutes. 7 people have this in their cart, selling fast. Urgency does not make the product better. It makes thinking about it feel expensive. Your question shifts from, do I need this, to what if I lose it? And those 2 questions have very different answers. And I want to be careful here because plenty of those messages are true. Sometimes there really are 2 left. But whether the scarcity is genuine or manufactured, the pressure can work the same way. It gives you less time to think. A timer is not neutral information. It may tell you when the sale ends, but it also tells you that hesitating has a cost. The first 4 traps work on you before you decide. The 5th works after the page has made the purchase feel like yours. Call it commitment, the effort you have already put in by the time you reach checkout. Look at what you have built. You picked a color. You picked a size. You added it to the cart. You typed your address. You went and found a discount code, and it worked. You are $8 from free shipping, and a little bar at the top says you are 80% done. Leaving now would waste all of that. It would not actually cost you anything, but it feels like it would. The longer you spend building the cart, the more walking away starts to feel like losing something, rather than simply keeping your money. So, here is what runs underneath all 5. Online stores do not necessarily need to change what you want. They only need to change what you compare. You arrived at the page asking a real question. Does this purchase make sense for me? By checkout, that question is gone, replaced by sharper ones. Which tier is the best value? How do I unlock the discount? How do I clear the shipping threshold? How do I not miss the sale? Every one of those questions is reasonable, but every one of them is framed around completing a purchase. Nobody took the other option away from you. You could always close the tab. It just stopped being one of the things on the screen. The most important option on the page is the one the page stopped showing you. Suppose a version of that shirt evening happens to you twice a month, and each time you land around $30 above what you walked in planning to spend. That is roughly $720 a year. Not on the things you decided you wanted, but on the extra items created by the choices the page placed in front of you. Quick and important thing, this is general education, not personalized financial advice, and I am not telling you to stop buying things. Sales are often real. If you already meant to buy 3 shirts this month, 3 for $60 is a genuinely good deal, and you did well. The problem is not spending. The problem is only ever comparing options that all end in a purchase. And sometimes you look back and you are glad you bought the extra one. That happens. But you find that out afterward, and the page needed you to be sure beforehand. That gap is where the business model does some of its best work. So what works better than relying on willpower alone? Because you are not going to outthink a page designed by people who do this for a living. Decide before you browse what item, how many, and the maximum total you will pay. Write it down if it is a big one. A decision made before the page loads is much harder for the page to redesign. Ignore the reference price. Cover the crossed out number with your thumb or just mentally take it off the page and then ask, would I pay this price if I had never seen the other one? If the answer is no, you did not find a deal. You found a comparison. Judge the total, not the percentage, not the amount saved, not how close you are to free shipping, not the monthly payment. The only number that leaves your account is the total at checkout. Spending $60 is not saving $40. Add time. Try 24 hours for smaller, non-essential things and longer for expensive ones. Not because those numbers are magic, but because almost any delay does the job. And close the tab. It will not stop the emails, but it adds friction and takes the purchase out of your immediate attention. If the urgency wears off and the wanting goes with it, you did not miss an opportunity. The pressure simply expired. And put the missing option back. When the page offers basic, standard, and premium, add a 4th one yourself. Buy nothing. Sometimes it loses. Quite often, the best value on the page is leaving with all of your money. None of this requires you to be smarter than every individual trick. That is a losing game, and it was never your job. These pages are built by people who understand comparison, urgency, effort, and how much we hate losing things, and they are good at it. It just means making the decisions that matter before you walk into the room designed to influence them. Decide what you need, what you will pay, and when you walk away, before the page gets a chance to decide any of it for you. Which one gets you most? Crossed out prices, free shipping thresholds, countdown timers, or that little best value badge? Tell me in the comments. But whichever one it is, the answer is the same. The smartest way to beat the trap is not to make a better choice inside it. It is to restore the choice the page removed. You came for 1 shirt. The page gave you 3 prices. The 4th option was to close the page.